The evolution of scalpers are the people that in 2017 put entrepreneur on their Instagram bio thinking that they did a little flip here or there or watched too much Gary Vaynerchuk.
Please take a step back and think about how awesome it actually is. And then recognize that you can attack the world in a totally different way because you were lucky enough to be born during this era. You Monday.
Oh, it's only 5 per customer. Day is gone. That's it. That was it. It's over.
One day I may be old, tired, and slow, but today ain't that day. We're getting after it and making things happen.
And now they're coming after your prismatic evolutions and trying to hustle the game, as they like to call it. And I'm going to break down why they make almost $0 or not much at all, that I would say is kind of sad. And this is not just to hate, this is just to look at actual factual numbers and saying like, wow, these people probably are not making that much money. There are a lot of reasons why I'm going to go through this. If there's somebody that wants to show me that they make more than this scalping and somehow are getting things lower than MSRP that are not an official business that are somehow doing this, let me know. But based off factual information you can find out there, this is what I have. We have to first understand a lot of limitations of this. Scalpers do not have true business sense because they have insufficient connections, insufficient supply, insufficient ability to track or have any kind of distributor to give them access to this stuff, which you looked at Nostalgianomics, you look at Pokey, like even people that are doing millions of dollars of business that are able to purchase cases upon cases are having a difficult time even getting a few boxes per se. Other limitations are this is only a one-trick pony within this hobby. And as many of you guys know, there are other ways that you can maneuver and get deals and things like that that I've talked about on this channel in order to make money or to flip things. So let's break down how much they're really making. Now, if you look at the graph here, this is from TCG Player. You can see that months ago it was pretty high and then it dipped down to almost 80, came back up. It was a high of about 140 to 150-ish, and now it's crashing back down. I will say on Facebook Marketplace, I'm seeing people put these up now for $90. And this next graph here is where it's actually falling down in a straight free fall at this point, and I don't know if it's going to catch. So I'm going to break down this hypothetical scenario because I would say it's also limited, but we're going to use round numbers. And don't worry, I'm going to do the math for you. I'm going to make your life really easy. There are numbers, but I'm going to do it for you so you can see how dumb this is. So let's say that the scalpers get 100 elite trainer boxes. We're not going to talk about poster collections, whatever else, because we're trying to keep this really concise. Usually scalpers that are going to stores, physically driving around, Barnes and Nobles, and they're going to Costco's, things like that, or maybe a Walmart or Target. To get 100 ETBs is going to be quite difficult, but I'm trying to make it even. So when a scalper goes to the checkout and an ETB is going to be $60, there is a 5% tax that they're going to have to pay if they get it in person. That's not including any fees of buying things online if they bought it at a lower rate. But we're just going to assume scalpers are really awesome and they are able to drive to every location to limit their costs as much as possible. I will say that the ETBs didn't really sit in the 140 to 150 area too long. I'd say the 120 is the longest that's been there. So I'm going to use that number because that's been kind of the most stagnant number that we've seen throughout that graph. Now, we know a lot of these scalpers are not flipping things on a regular basis, probably on TCG. So looking at TCG's website, it says the marketplace seller with a level 1 to 4 account will pay a commission fee of 10.25%. And then on top of that, they will do a domestic PayPal processing fee, which is 2.5% plus 30 cents. Now, doing the math for you on just the commission fee is $12.30. That brings them down to making $107.70 in profit. But the fee from PayPal, that is now $3.30, which now is going to bring them down to $104.40. Now you should subtract that from the cost of what it is itself, just for the box, to make it round of $60. They're getting $44, which if taxed 5% on average around the state, it's about $41 to $43 per box. And in theory would total that they would make $4,400 off of selling ETBs. But again, I want you to take the grain of salt of How many people do you know that went around getting 100 ETBs at a time? Not many people. Maybe half of that is what I've seen. People having 40, 50 or so in supply, but keeping the numbers round here. It should also be noted that I'm using TCG Player because this is the staple within the market that kind of sets Pokemon cards and the prices in comparison to places like eBay, but eBay does have a 12% fee, so it would be very close to this anyway. Now, I did try and look at cost of shipping as well, between priority, your own box, all these other things. I'm doing a flat $5 because, and that's like they only sell one ETB per each thing, because you kind of have to assume this overhead cost. And here I'm going to show some of the requirements of TCG Player, which does require tracking for an order of this amount, so that would actually increase costs as well. But I'm just trying to make this as simple as possible because that is a variable here. So now this makes our profit of $39.40 per ETB. But I'm saying people are trying to get these offloaded as quick as possible. TCG Player, not have to worry about driving everywhere, meeting up with people, whatever else, because that's the way they're being an entrepreneur, right? They're doing this out of their spare bedroom per se. And they're wrong because Uncle Sam is going to get their dollar amount out of these people's pockets, and I don't even think they even understand that as they're starting their entrepreneurial journey here. The IRS has been really nice and has said, if you make more than $600, you have to report it. And believe your bottom dollar, TCG Player does send out what is called a 1099, which is contractual work, in order to make sure that the IRS knows you made money off of products. And it's really easy to make $600 over on TCG Player on even a couple of these ETBs. Not to bore you, but federal taxes that you pay, and you probably don't realize this out of your check, is 22%. Now, out of the $3,900 of profit after they have all of those expenses of buying the product itself, they are going to have $866 of taxes that they're going to pay in federal taxes. And you're probably like, okay, well, they still got some meat on the bone. It's $3,074 left right now. But that is not forever, because not only does Uncle Sam on the federal side want their money, the state does as well, and they want 5%. And that is the average across the nation. And if you take that, it is $1,063.80 that would be deducted from that. Totaling now, they would make $2,876. But, we are not done yet. The government does not like small businesses. Target, Walmart, these big businesses have lawyers, accountants, whoever, and lobbyists to try and not pay taxes. You, the average scalper running around at Targets and Walmarts, you don't have the lawyers. You don't have the accountants to do that. But they're going to come right for your pockets. And that's because there's something called self-employment tax, which, guess what, is 15%, which I have paid before. It hurts, and so you're like, whoa. How much percent is that? We are now looking at, in tax alone, 42.3%, including federal, state, and self-employment tax, which is $1,654.80, leaving them with only $2,286. So all this running around from Target to Walmart to Barnes & Nobles to wherever else to make $2,200 something here. Did I forget to say that these people also have to buy gas? They're repeatedly going to go out. This does not include wear and tear on the car, insurance costs, things like that. I doubt they're going to be business savvy to track those things to even make them deductions on their, business expenses, because they are not too business savvy. Let's just be honest there. This also does not include the time it would take in order to make sure that you go from place to place to meet up with people if you wanted to avoid some of the taxes that are going on here and get cash transactions. Now let's put into perspective if they were able to do this on a regular basis with releases of Pokemon products that are out there. If they were to reproduce this even 6 times in the entire year, they would make $23,640. After taxes, it would be $13,716. And like the average salary in the US is $66,000. You divide that by 2, that's $33,000. After taxes for that, you're still coming out on top. It's a guarantee. You have no issue with getting product or stress of that or whatever else. This is literally like chump change on the side And really, these people are not doing anything that I would say is really top tier entrepreneurial level here. So my final thoughts that I want to also add before I let you go is these are under extreme market conditions where these people are under the hype, right? Like we already know Journey Together is not under the same pressure or hype as Prismatic Evolutions as well. I will tell you that I don't think they could replicate this even 6 times in the year at these margins. So I think this would actually be less. And then these people, I believe, the only way they would be able to maximize every cent is if they did Facebook Marketplace cash only and were doing some kind of service where it was, family and friends versus a goods and service on PayPal or something like that. You might as well go work another job. You might as well go look at something else. But that doesn't seem as lucrative, doesn't seem as fancy, doesn't seem as cool after dealing with all the headache of this, by the way. So, I would tell these people, just go to your local card shop. Just go there, man. It's probably better to help people that are actually interested in your hobby and are not in these hypes. Like a local store of mine opened about a year ago during a low of Pokemon. And so this is probably an awesome time for them coming up. And I go there because consistently having product. I could drive to 5 different stores that I think might have product. But when you go to a local card shop, you know they're going to have something you probably want, whether that be single, sealed product, trading things, right? Like to fulfill your collection. Or if you're friends with them, they might actually help you out and say, hey, I'll hold this card for you. I know you're waiting for it. Let's work something out that way. Target, Walmart are not going to do that, right? But that's okay. Big box stores do bigger deals, essentially, which make the price that they buy it at much lower than these card shops. So if you want these hobbies to stay at the core of what they are and have the hype they do, you have to put your money where your mouth is. And I'm not saying that just to be like the white knight of this. I'm just trying to say, like, dude, the amount of people that are spending time to flip these ETBs and these other things, I'm like, these are pennies on the dollar. Like, I could find 10 other side hustles that are probably better than this, but that's just what I'm thinking right here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about my breakdown of the scalping economy. Let me know down in the comments below. If you are a scalper, I'm not trying to hate you. I'm just trying to say, like, I think there's more meat on the bone in other places.